welcome to Carolina Warrior TV. I'm Chaz Bryant. Coming up on this first show of 2014, we got previews, reviews, interviews, highlights. It's so jam-packed we may have some smack talk in here. Who knows what we have in the show coming up. It's going to be a good one, but we do have a good guest. He's 12 and 8 lifetime, 5 and 4 as a pro, and has been locked in the cage with some of the area's best, like Joey Carroll, DeJuan Owens, Kevin Frank, Jeff Logan, the man, the myth, the legend. He is Curtis Cloward. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Curtis Cloward. Thank you very much. And before I continue, Curtis, I believe, is the first guest ever to bring us snacks on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you bring us snacks on the show, we will love you a long time. It's a big hit around here. We appreciate that, Curtis. Tell us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Before we go any further, and I don't have my glasses on anymore. It's we'll give a little plug. We'll give a little love. I normally don't do this.
I'm all about it.
It's the Raw Crunch Bar.
Raw Crunch Bar. Go to rawcrunchbar.com. This is not just a sponsor of mine. It's actually where I work. I make all these bars
by hand.
By hand.
Holy cow!
In Matthews, North Carolina. Ship them out all over the country. Check out the website, and they're delicious. They're good for you.
What's in here? Flaxseed oil and
it's all natural ingredients,
stuff.
organic, nuts and seeds held together by honey. Great source of energy. It's all natural fats, and they're delicious.
I don't know how I forgot my broadcasting etiquette right about now, so I'm
like eating in front of the camera.
Yeah,
I'll keep talking if you need me to. You know, I'll go
going.
all day.
It's delicious. It's so good. But I'll eat while you explain. Last time we had a microphone from your face. You're sort of on the retirement stages of your career.
Okay,
what happened with that?
Anybody who has followed me closely and knows me knows that I retire after every fight. So it's not the last time you will hear that from me, I'm sure. But the track I'm on now is I'm definitely going to fight until I lose, okay? So if I keep winning, potentially I could fight another 100
So there's incentive for you.
There's incentive, absolutely.
To keep winning and fighting.
Absolutely. I'm at that point in my career, you know, I mean, I have a winning record, but it's not like, you know, it's 5 and 4. It's not the greatest record on paper looking at it. Until you look a little deeper and you realize I won 5 of my last 6, you know? So to get a good streak going, I add some wins on top of that, it looks a lot better for bigger shows. But at the same time, if I lose before I get a contract with a good show, it's going to set me back tremendously. So that's where my mind's at right now. I want to keep the streak going, hopefully get noticed by a bigger promotion, and you know, take it from there.
Sky's the limit. Now, here's my whole monkey in this whole thing, the whole wrench in this thing. That if you lose, want to build a fire inside your belly. Say, oh man, I want to avenge that last loss, and then you're going to fight again.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly don't want to go out on a loss. That's true.
But then you get a whole fight streak again of winning.
And then
again.
and then I'll just have to fight until I win, and then I'll retire. So
which could be after the next fight.
There are. The most important goal is to not go out on a losing record, not go out on a loss for me right now. If I'm not making it into a big show and actually making.
I think
money.
I need like an abacus. Or some sort of calculator.
There's all kinds of charts and graphs that go into this.
There'll be a test and a quiz after this. Now you're fighting with Team Rickion, and those guys, if anybody's following around here, pump out some really good guys. You got Matt Propin up there, Mikey Clark up there. We were just talking not too long ago about Charlie Beavis up in what is he at Thailand or something like that, some exotic Southeast Asian-ish country. How's the guys up there?
Very good. I mean, the Rickion wrestling program has been established for a long time, and then just a couple years ago, they started having some MMA fighters train there. And the program fluctuates. We've had at sometimes a lot of fighters competing at one time, and then to as few as just 3 or 4. But the thing is, martial arts isn't their business there. They have the established hot yoga program. Great for any competitive athlete, and then they have the wrestling program for the high school wrestlers, and that's what pays the bills there. The MMA is just a hobby for Clay. So what that allows is it allows for him to only have people he wants on the mat at that particular time. So everyone I'm training with there is competing at a high level in the local MMA scene, and it weeds out anyone who's just there just to say they train with a pro fighter.
You're in the corner for old Matt Propin up there. How's he doing? I know he's got the jaw situation going on up there.
Yeah.
He's not able to talk the old British.
Oh, he talks. He speaks just fine. He had to go 6 weeks without eating any solid food, which was a pain in the butt. But he's on the way up right now. He's on the upswing. He's getting back into the gym and working out. So he's feeling a lot better, and hopefully we'll see him compete soon.
And as far as you, what's your sort of timetable coming up as far as fighting? You're not going to be on this card. You are going to be cornering. We'll get into that a little bit later. But what's the time getting back in the cage in spring, whenever somebody calls you up?
One of my other more rules to my fighting career here. I do not like fighting in the wintertime. I hate training in the cold, okay? So I like to shoot for springtime, but as it is, I have an opportunity to fight possibly March 1st,
Okay.
so that's coming up real soon, 5 weeks out right now. I'll find out in the next week if that's really happening. If not, then I'll definitely be on the next Fight Lab card here in Charlotte in April.
Sure. So there's a slim timetable, I guess, for promoters to call you up and get with you. Don't call me up between like November and March. Whenever the first thaw comes over.
I've earned that much. I figure I get a little wiggle room now. I always put on a good show. I always bring out a lot of fans. Just don't ask me to fight in January, okay?
What's your favorite, looking back so far, of your on-again, off-again retirement career? What was the favorite, your highlight so far as fighting? Is there a favorite opponent you had?
I can't say that. Honestly, I've had all the fights that I've had recently were really exciting. This last one with Daniel Terry, he was so tough, and we just had this really good back and forth, stand up, take down battle. And that was a lot of fun to fight and be a part of. Other than that, I had a really good fight with Scott Farhat in Shelby.
Sure.
They never put out a video for that one. It's been a source of frustration for a long time because that was probably my most exciting fight ever. And my fight with Joe Carroll was very important because that was my first win as a professional. I certainly would have retired if I had lost that fight. But as it is, that was a big turning point for my career. So that's always going to be a favorite memory of mine.
You going to stick around a little bit?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Because we have some highlights of the first ever inaugural show down there in Myrtle Beach. It was the Hard Play MMA event put on by Rucker Entertainment. A lot of guys came out there and proved what they're worth. A lot of new guys stepped up inside the cage. 7 fights of great, hard-hitting action. Let's go to the highlights.
The first ever Hard Play MMA event was held at the Coral Reef Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on January 25th. The night started off with a terrific KO as Jeremy Newman went rage all over Mike Cundy in the first round. Rashad Hood and Jeremy Boyd staged a great battle in the second fight of the night. Back and forth as Boyd demonstrated more control in the fight. He gets the unanimous win. Harris Artis picked up a pretty nice looking KO, landing a knee on Jeff Roberts' head, sending him to his hotel room a little early in the second round. Here's 2 debut fighters, and the one thing you can't do is kick another fighter in the head while he's down on the ground. That's a DQ of Muslim Rozlov. Sam Curtis gets the win, and pretty bad headache. Billy Alexander and Wes Smith fought for the bantamweight title, and the fight quickly fell to Alexander's way. A failed guillotine attempt led to a triangle attempt, which proved to be the winning submission, as Billy Alexander is the hard play bantamweight champion. Henning at 2-3 and Jackson at 1-1. Henning is a more experienced fighter, and it showed, while Jackson tried to do more work while standing with Henning's jabs and groundwork gave him the split decision win, which sort of should have been a unanimous, but the final fight of the night featured the pros. Nick Grady versus Ghetto Jones. We started the night with a TKO and we'll finish with the night. A hook does Grady in early in the first round.
That was our first event down there at Myrtle Beach, the Hard Play event. Have you ever been part of an inaugural show, big time thing like that?
Actually, in fact, I was on the very first Fight Lab show at the Grady Cole Center.
This man's
2
full
years
of
back.
history.
Yeah, I've been around a little while. That was, I think it was my 6th or 7th amateur fight, and that was fun to be a part of that, and to still be a fight for those guys this many years later, and to see how they've developed.
I'm pretty sure you developed a lot with the Rickion guys there too.
Absolutely, they turned my career around, learning how to wrestle. The majority of my issues in my career have come from losing to guys that had better wrestling than me. So really turned around everything training at Rickion with Clay Reynolds. And then, of course, my jiu-jitsu game with Steve Hall at Fight Twin Jiu-Jitsu. That has helped out a lot in terms of submission skills and really tightening up my defense and offense.
So that's get all-around basis. Is it important to go from, if one school has this sort of program, maybe go to another?
In a perfect world, I suppose you could have one guy who is that great at everything, but it's so hard to get that. And the benefit of actually training jiu-jitsu with 100% jiu-jitsu guys and training wrestling with 100% wrestling guys is that it's going to sharpen that part of your game so much more. At the same time, you still want to train MMA with MMA guys, but that's just the balance you have to cut, is find, all the amount of skills you can get, the best way you can get them.
Listen to this guy. He's a ball, a basket. He's like a wealth of knowledge right here. So stick around. He'll be coming up a little bit later on after these commercial breaks. Coming up, let the Carolinas MMA action heat up the winner's chill. 4 MMA events scheduled in North and South Carolina. We'll give you a preview of 2 of them. Now, I was looking high and low for somebody who knows a little bit about Fight Lab, and I think I found a guy. He's got like 6 fights inside the Fight Lab cage, 4 wins, and he's back again. You're just in the other segment. You're going to stay here and talk about this segment coming up. Of course, it's Curtis Cloward. Curtis, you have 6 fights, 4 wins in the Fight Lab cage, but this time around for Fight Lab 35, you're going to be cornering. For the novices out there, the beginners who don't know what cornering does and cornering people do during a fight, can you sort of explain, elaborate for us? Use big words since you have glasses on.
I'll do my best. There's a lot. Honestly, I feel sometimes way more pressure being a corner man than I do actually when I'm fighting, because I feel like that my fighters, life is in my hands, So there's the basic stuff that you're going to do for every fighter. You're going to wrap their hands, you're going to help them get warmed up, you're going to make sure they have everything organized for the walkout, and you've got, the water and the towel and the bucket and all that. But then beyond that, each fighter is kind of based on their individual characteristics. Some guys just want to sit in the corner and leave them alone until it's time to fight. Other guys need a lot of motivation, a lot of inspirational talk. and a lot of running through the game plan, warming up, do some grappling, do some striking, get them ready to go. So really just depends on who's fighting and what they need.
Personality, I guess, plays a big part, just
Absolutely.
like you were saying, that you just can't do the same thing for one guy that you do to the other.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's highs and lows in everybody. But since you are cornering, you may have a little bit of time to sneak out and see what they got going on at Grady Cole Center. And since you are a veteran of the Fight Lab cage, both you're at the Epicenter and then you did a couple of Grady Coles like you did last time. What are some of the fights that you're looking forward to?
I'm interested in the pro side of the card, which works
No
out.
love to the amateurs.
Honestly, here, I'll put it to you this way. Look, my teammates are fighting amateur.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to watch any amateur fights anyway because I'm going to be in the locker room warming them up, or I'm going to be ringside with them for their fights. And at this point in time, I just don't have that interest in watching anybody else's amateurs fight because it doesn't matter to me. So I get to watch the pros fight. In the end, I think they're going to be more interesting fights, if for nothing else, just for the rules, but also for career possibilities. You know, these are guys that I may end up fighting at some point in time. So I'm excited to see the Joe Carroll Charles Nutt fight. I don't know much about Charles Nutt, but I fought Joe Carroll before, and it's always an exciting fight with him. And most importantly, the better he does, the better it makes my record look. Now, Brian Hall's fighting on this card. He's just, world famous jiu-jitsu kind of legend in his own time kind of guy. So it's great to see him perform at a regional show. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. And then of course we've got Keith Richardson versus Shane Crenshaw. That'll be real exciting. These are two guys who kind of had their careers going along the same route as mine. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I think it'll be a really good matchup for them to have an exciting fight.
Sure.
And depending on who wins that, it may have an effect on who I fight in the future.
So you're thinking about if the Rockstar possibly wins that one, and you're at the home of the Rockstar right now in Modern Warrior, you're basically saying, I want to get punched in the face, just like all the other guys in here, by the Rockstar. Is
Not sure if I said any of that
I
directly.
think you did. I think indirectly,
However-
directly, you have said it, and I'm putting words in your mouth because, it makes more TV appeal.
I'll put it to you this way. Between Shane Crenshaw, myself, and Richardson, it's 3 local fighters with winning records. I don't see any reason why the 3 of us wouldn't be fighting each other at some point in time.
Yeah, it's sort of like a transvergence, too, because you fought Joey Carroll, Keith fought Joey Carroll, and all you guys are still out there banging around. I guess it really wouldn't be intimidating to see some of these guys out in the street and, hey, you remember the time you punched me in the face, and I punched you in the face, and all this other stuff. There's a lot of camaraderie that goes along with some of you guys sometimes.
Absolutely. It's always nice. Every time I've seen Keith out in public, we've never fought before, but we've been in the shows together.
Well, we can arrange that.
He's fought teammates of mine and stuff, but there's never been any drama ever.
Yeah.
And Joe Carroll, after our fight, he's been nothing but polite. Every time you see him, he's a really nice guy. So I've never had a fight where afterwards there was still any drama with my opponent. So it always goes cordially.
And just sort of like that Fight Lab cage and these shows that Fight Lab puts on, they're electric. How forward do you look going to these shows?
I look forward a lot to being out there with the, especially at the Grady Cole Center.
Yeah.
I think that's the best local venue for these fights. Just for the fans, I mean, the stadium seating helps everybody, and it's such a tightly packed arena, but you can fit a lot of people in there, so the crowd gets really loud, and I think it's a good place where everyone can see the action and really cheer for their fighters, and I think it's a lot of fun for everyone.
There's going to be another show going on in Havelock, North Carolina. It's Primus 4, and I caught up with Al Simmons of the Fight Nation Network. He'll be covering that event. I spoke with him about a preview for that show. Joining me by conference call, the lovely Spawn himself, Al Simmons. Al, thank you very much for joining me here. You looking good,
man,
brother?
it's my pleasure always, Jeff.
You looking good, brother? How's your
My
health
pleasure,
before we
Chad.
start off?
Very good. I had to switch over. My healing is doing really well, but I've had to go to a pain management facility. They've hooked me up with these patches that give me all-day pain relief, and it's slowly but surely, I'm able to move my head this way, and I'm able to move my head this way, so we're doing really good so far.
You're going to be down there the same day as the Fight Lab card, so you're going to be down there with Primus. They've got their event going down on the coast. Who are some guys to look for as we go get ready for that fight down there?
You know, the Primus deal, you know, if it was any other card, I would say I would be sitting cage side at Fight Lab, but you know what? Frank Williams and John Big Dog down there, they get it going at Primus. I really love these guys. They put a lot of heart, a lot of effort into their matchmaking and stuff. The guys to look out for on this card is Muad'Din, and I really don't want to mess up his last name, but I'm going to try real hard. Ak Habib, and he's fighting Chris Jackson that night. This kid, Mua is what I call him, and I tell you what, he has got some nice hands. When he connects, these kids feel it. He's hit on the side of the head a couple of times. He cracked the last guy, and it rocked him enough that he got to finish the fight. I'm looking for big things with the Antoine Phillips and the Tiberius Gordon fight. That's going to be a tough fight for Gordon's. Tiberius is taking a big jump right there in that fight. Antoine's he's one of those big guys that can come out of the box and stay on you with a lot of energy very quickly into the fight, and it really takes a big dude, a lot of heart for them to get past that whirlwind that he gives for that first minute. And I'm looking really big on that fight. And then, of course, my boy Kenny Craig Hill, always giving his flamboyant self and his cute little pink shorts. We always love him to watch Kenny. I love that kid. And he's fighting Tracy Christian, which is going to be a good fight. I think Tracy's got some good hands. Craig's going to have to watch it out, keep it on the ground, keep it controlled, or that's going to be a long night for Kenny.
MMA just isn't about punching and kicking. There's the mixed part, or is it the martial part? It's the ground game. We'll show you where you can go to watch some of the best in 90 seconds as Carolina Warrior TV rolls on.
I know they probably hating, they getting punched out. It's funny how they waiting, they getting punched out, get your crew punched out. Treat it like clockwork, I punch in and punch out. I know they probably hating, they getting punched out. It's funny how they waiting, they getting punched out.
Coming back from combat, it's unlike anything you've ever been through in your life.
I didn't know what PTSD was. All I knew is I was having nightmares.
If we don't help these young men and women heal, we're going to lose another generation.
You have to find that passion again once you come home.
I'm learning to face my fear.
To just let go and see what happens at the end.
They couldn't break me. I just kept coming back.
I had the drive and desire.
On February 1st, Joe Hurst puts on the most talked about grappling event in the Charlotte region. The Monster, grapplers from all over the region will come to Concord to test their skills. This year's event will be at the Great Wolf Lodge, and these events are usually a stepping stone to some fighters to get inside the cage. However, you may see a couple of there competing on that day. All right, back before we leave, we got a couple of minutes left. Curtis, you said you want to challenge Keith Richardson in the last segment, if I'm correct. So right now, if you want to go ahead and take this. You want to take? We don't want to take the challenge.
He's got a fight on Saturday.
He does have a fight on. Well, he can get warmed up. He needs a sparring partner along with a couple of these guys. There's Brad Bulletproof Roof. Can we get Brad in there? Wave to the camera, Brad. I said wave to the camera. Oh. And then you got Duran's the Fight Lab champ. What weight are you in that? You're just big. Just whatever the hell the damn big.
Little big guys.
Yeah, something like that. We just talked about grappling tournaments there. How important? And Keith, if you want to jump in, because you know a little something about grappling wrestling. A little bit, Brad. How important is this these tournaments for young fighters, young guys coming in who want to get inside the cage?
I think it's extremely important. I think it's very important to obviously train every element of mixed martial arts, and especially to compete in it individually as you grow into making your debut. So I competed in a couple kickboxing tournaments and a couple grappling tournaments, and essentially anytime you compete 100% like that, it just helps you build that killer instinct, and it also just helps your skills build, and it's very important, especially as an amateur.
And Keith, and I don't know if I can get you on the microphone real quick, how important, because you came from that wrestling background, how important is, if you already have that base in wrestling, how important is it to get that well-rounded as far as striking, learn the other avenues of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that?
You know, you've got to get that well-roundedness. You know, you can't, there's no one-trick ponies anymore. You know, everybody knows a little bit of everything. So, you know, getting into those grappling tournaments and stuff like that is crucial. You know, you get to see other gyms, you know, their styles. You know, every gym has their own style. So, you know, you get exposure to that, you know, and it just builds your comfort level up with, you know, grappling, where, you know, you've got a bunch of people watching you. You know, you get those butterflies and the jitters, and, you know, once you start getting comfortable with that, you know, that helps build your confidence to get in the cage, and where it's just you and another man locked in a steel cage fighting it out. So, you know, you just want to build up that confidence.
Dwayne, you came from a wrestling background, I believe. You went to college doing the wrestling part. Limestone College. How hard was it to transition from wrestling? Now, we all know you get into a bunch of fist fights out in the parking lot, bars and stuff like that. How hard was it to get inside the cage and actually learn how to strike properly?
It was a lot more to it than I thought, but it was a little difficult at first, you know, getting your feet work together with your hands and stuff, that coordination. So once I got that down packed out, it was pretty good. So.
There you go. It's pretty good. You got a belt to wear, don't you?
Yeah.
And keep your pants up. Looking ahead in 2013, Curtis, what's your goals as far as yourself, and maybe a little bit about the community here in North Carolina, South Carolina? What do you want to see happen?
Goals for myself are ever changing, but for the time being, I'll be looking to get a couple more fights here in the near future, and essentially make one last push and see what I can do for it, as far as, you know, opening up possibilities for competing at bigger shows, and, you know, seeing if I can really make a solid career out of it, you know, solidify my legacy, I suppose. Other than that, as far as the local scene, you know, just want to keep seeing the rest of my teammates compete and do well, and have some amateurs coming up and really building their skill sets and turn some of them pro in the near future as well.
Sure. What about yours, a big
My goals for 2014?
Yes. Don't get all sappy on me and start.
No, you know, I've got big plans. You know, as far as Modern Warrior MMA. You know, keep you know, pushing, having more and more champions coming out of the gym. You know, as far as my personal goals, it's always start racking up the victories, and you know, really start getting pushing to compete at a national level on you know, those big national shows. You know, more TV time. Yeah,
show off that face, of course.
You know, that's the big one.
Well, what's yours back there? Just to compete, man?
Just compete.
And roll with
That's
Chad?
it. I'm just looking to fight a couple good fights.
I guess yours, Duran, will just keep the belt for another.
Yeah, keep the belt, and then you know,
Grab a couple more.
Well,
go to the next level.
My goal here on Carolina Warrior TV is to bring you the best interviews, highlights, predictions, and all that good sappy stuff we always talk about. Before we leave you, I'd like to thank the guys here at Big Wayne's Gym, Modern Warrior MMA. I guess I have to thank that guy behind me for letting me use the mats. And thank you for watching. Make sure you stay tuned to Carolina Warrior TV on the Facebook and on the YouTube page. And as we close here on this first show of 2014, here are a look at the highlights and champions of that Hard Play MMA show down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Carolina Warrior TV. Adios, muchachos.